Hey there, pirates! Welcome aboard the Anime No Me channel. Since the beginning of One Piece, Monkey D. Luffy's past has been shrouded in mystery. We know he is the son of Monkey D. Dragon, the most wanted man in the world and leader of the Revolutionary Army. We also know his grandfather is Monkey D. Garp, the legendary marine hero. But when it comes to his mother, Oda has always kept silent, only saying that she's alive but not important to the story, or at least, not yet. That alone is enough fuel for a number of fan theories. One of the most intriguing and increasingly supported by indirect evidence is the possibility that Luffy is the son of a world noble, specifically one who broke away from the world government. To start building this theory, we need to look at the context in which Dragon lived and rose to power. Before becoming the most dangerous revolutionary in the world, Dragon was a marine officer. This has been confirmed in SBS and also indirectly by characters who mention Dragon being present during key events before he became known as a rebel. The Marines, as the military arm of the world government, have direct and regular contact with the world nobles, the Celestial Dragons. This opens the door for Dragon to have met someone within that circle, especially a noble who was dissatisfied with the cruel and unequal system upheld by the Celestial elite. We know not all Celestial Dragons share the same extremist worldview. There are nobles who question the system. Princess Shirahoshi, for example, although not a Celestial Dragon, represents an oppressed royal bloodline fighting for justice. On the other hand, we have the case of Don Quixote Homing, Doflamingo's father, who gave up his world noble status because he didn't agree with the cruelty of the system. This shows that it's possible for a Celestial Dragon or their descendant to have values that go against the expectations of the ruling elite. With that in mind, it's plausible to consider that Dragon could have been involved with a woman who was a descendant of the world nobles, but broke away from the world government's oppression. If she shared ideals of justice and equality, it's possible she helped found or at least inspire the Revolutionary Army. She might have even been killed, exiled, or forced to disappear by the government after being seen as a threat to the power structure of the Celestial Dragons. This would align perfectly with One Piece's narrative style, where the past generation directly influences current events. The O'Hara Rebellion, Fisher Tiger's story, Nico Robin's persecution, all involve people who defied the system and paid a heavy price, but left legacies that are now blossoming. If Luffy's mother was a revolutionary or idealist figure with blood ties to the Celestial Dragons, it would explain why the world government feared Luffy so much, even before his most impactful actions. Luffy has always been seen as too dangerous, not just because of his strength, but because of his influence. From a young age, he gathered powerful allies and took down established structures in multiple kingdoms. There's a clear pattern. Luffy fights tyrants, frees people, and inspires hope. His charisma is reminiscent of revolutionary or messianic figures. This ability to lead and connect with the masses goes beyond genetics, but could also be the inheritance of a noble bloodline that once tried to change the world from within. Another key point is the nature of the D. The mystery surrounding this middle name is central to One Piece. We know those who carry the D are referred to as enemies of the gods, a title that naturally places them in opposition to the Celestial Dragons. If Luffy, already a Dapsurus, is also descended from a world noble, he would represent a paradoxical union between the light and shadow of the world. This would further deepen the symbolism of Luffy's fight against the world government. He wouldn't just be challenging the system, he would carry within him the very contradiction of the world ruled by the Celestial Dragons. During the Maria Joie arc at the Leveille, we saw that Imu, the mysterious figure who rules over everything, takes a particular interest in Luffy. He's considered a threat on par with Blackbeard and Vivi. But why Vivi? Vivi also has royal blood, and her family has a historical connection to the Void Century, being the only founding kingdom of the world government that refused to become Celestial Dragons. Perhaps the interest in Luffy isn't just about what he's done, but also about his unknown origins. It wouldn't be surprising if Luffy's mother had some connection to the Nefertari family, or even other families that hold secrets about the Void Century. Another possibility is that she was a direct descendant of one of the 20 founding families who chose to renounce her title, live among commoners, or was exiled for disagreeing with the Celestial Dragon's methods. That could explain why her identity remains a secret to this day. If her existence were revealed, it might expose a dangerous link between Celestial blood and the revolutionaries. From a storytelling perspective, this kind of reveal would strengthen the symbolism of Luffy as the sun god Nika. Luffy represents freedom, and the revelation that he carries the blood of those who once upheld slavery and oppression would make his rebellion even more powerful. He would not only be the liberator of the oppressed, but also the redemption of the corrupted celestial bloodline. breaking the cycle of tyranny with love, friendship, and courage. Still within the Revolutionary Army, we have characters like Sabo, Ivankov, and Kuma, all deeply connected to Dragon. None of them have ever spoken about Luffy's mother, which suggests that information is being kept strictly confidential. That only reinforces the idea that there's something extremely sensitive about her past. If she were just an ordinary woman, there would likely be no need for such secrecy. The theory that she's of noble lineage with access to dangerous secrets makes much more sense in this context. Another detail worth noting is that Dragon is a highly rational, cautious, and strategic man. The kind of partner he would choose would hardly be someone ordinary or random. It makes far more sense to think his partner was an ideological ally, someone who shared his worldview, and perhaps even had greater access to classified knowledge about the world government thanks to her noble origin. That could explain why Dragon became so deeply disillusioned, not just from what he witnessed as a Marine, but from the truths he learned through his partner. Furthermore, Luffy has always shown values that go far beyond his upbringing. Even though he was raised by Garp and grew up alongside Ace and Sabo, Luffy has never shown interest in power, wealth, or status traits that are the complete opposite of the Celestial Dragons. His purity, innate sense of justice, and hatred of oppression are defining characteristics. Yet, he also carries an aura of unintentional royalty, something that makes even former enemies kneel before him or follow his ideals. This isn't something that can be explained solely by his personality or his circumstances. It might be something in his blood, a mix of the revolutionary spirit of the D and the blood of a noble lineage that, instead of choosing to rule, chose to serve and protect. If this theory proves true, it would have massive implications for the final stretch of One Piece. Luffy's past would become even more relevant, especially in the final war against the world government. It's expected that the true history of the Void Century will come to light, along with the secrets of the Celestial Dragons, the ancient weapons, and the very origin of the current world. In this scenario, Luffy would become the link between the old world and the new, between oppressor and oppressed, between the empty throne and true freedom. One detail that strengthens this theory is the way the Celestial Dragons and world nobles are portrayed. While most of them are shown as vile and arrogant, there are hints of exceptions. A classic example is Don Quixote Miosgard, who rejected his noble status after learning the truth about the world and chose to live justly, helping the fishmen. This shows that not all Celestial Dragons are evil, making it entirely plausible that Luffy's mother was one of those exceptions. In addition, Dragon's origin as a former high-ranking Marine remains a largely unexplored mystery. A man with his level of knowledge, influence, and ambition likely wouldn't have rebelled without having seen something concrete from the inside. If he had direct contact with the corruption, he may have found allies within the very top ranks, including someone he fell in love with. The idea that Dragon founded the Revolutionary Army alongside a defector from the world nobles brings a new perspective. Perhaps Luffy's birth wasn't a coincidence, but a conscious hope to change the world. This ties directly into the mythological themes that run throughout One Piece. Luffy has been associated with the sun god Nika, the liberator of the oppressed. But how does someone become the chosen one? It wouldn't be surprising if Oda revealed that Luffy was born from the union of two individuals who, despite coming from opposite worlds, the government's military and the world's elite, chose to break away from it all. That union may have given birth not just to a special child, but to a figure who symbolizes the destruction of the old order and the birth of a new era. Another important point is how the world nobles have access to the truth about the world, including the Void Century, the existence of Joy Boy, the treasure of Mary Joas, and the secrets of the world government. If Luffy's mother had access to that information, it's plausible that she shared everything with Dragon, explaining why the revolutionary leader knows so much about the government's darkest horrors. It would also explain why the world government fears Dragon and his son so much, not just because of their actions, but because of what they represent. That was today's content. We hope you liked it and want to share your opinion on the subject. Don't forget to share the video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and stay amazing.